Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us at another Aitai chat session with Ray Chase, renowned voice actor Ray Chase. I'm Audrey, and I am the CEO and founder of Aitai Kuji, and we're super excited to be talking to Ray today and also to be back finally. It's been a while since our last podcast with Aitai Chat and with Harada as well, so thank you guys all for joining us today.
Of course, it's an honor, especially if you call me renowned voice actor. I didn't tell you about that. It's fantastic.
No, I mean you've been so prominent in so many different roles. And I think it's not even renowned is not even the right word to use. I think
Celebrated.
Celebrated.
Hello. This
And
is
then
my dog.
oh, and
Who is here. This is Stella. She is camera shy. Stella,
adorable.
Milo loves the camera. Stella says, "Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me?"
Adorable. Oh my gosh. Her name is Stella. Yes. That's amazing. But yes, thank you,
Stella,
Ray.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray, and Harada for joining us. And Harada, if you want to maybe do a quick introduction for yourself as well.
Sure. Yeah. So, hey, everyone. My name is Harada. I'm the director in online engagement within the video game industry. I've had the pleasure of both, being friends with Audrey, but also working with Ray on one or two things, in the past and, maybe in the future, who knows? But Ray is a good friend and, really excited to, start this off.
Awesome. And of course, everyone, thank you so much for joining us in chat as well. I see a ton of people really hyped. Nearly Neon is saying konnichiwa. Oh, yes. For those of you guys who are in the US side, have a good evening. And also for us in Japan side, good afternoon, I suppose. So yeah, let's just get this ball started. I mean, of course, everyone who is here knows Ray for so many different roles that he's been in, not just anime but also video games, and it's just so prominent in so many things. But I guess one thing that I personally wanted to know is how long, Ray, have you been in voice acting? I've known you because of course your role as Noctis from Final Fantasy 15, but were you doing a lot of voice acting before that as well?
Let's see. Wow, there we go. It's fun because Gmail has everything.
Oh, your first voice acting.
Here's my first one. Well, okay. One of the first. This was where I say, because as some people in chat might know, I got my start doing The Color of Energy, which was a Michigan biofuel industrial that I did by I got the phone number off the drama school board and called them. But here's my real one, Dmitry Kuzmenko via Voice 123. This is August 3rd, 2009, 12:48 a.m. Hi, Ray. Your pilot glider is cool. Only one thing. Could you do him a little more younger and a little bit vivid? Please tell me your rate for the job. I've attached the script. Wow.
Wow, 2009.
He corrected himself. He said, about vivid, I just mean younger. That's fantastic. Wow, this is where it all started.
So about 13 years ago.
That's 13 years ago when it first started. This is hilarious. How much was this? 80. I've told people at cons that this was my very first one, a Russian hang gliding game, and I've said that it's $100. I did not make $100. I made it a cool $85 for my very first video game job.
How long was the line?
$85.
How many lines did you have, or was it a?
Yeah. We're talking 54 lines, such as.
Wow.
Oh wait, there's more. Oh, I see. He did 2 columns, so we're talking 80 lines. So $1 a line is my going rate. Things like, hey, could you land me or something? It seems I have to land. The fuel, I need it. Tower, I've got a problem. High-speed glider reporting. Hey, don't shake the iPhone. Tower, I see you. Incredible. That game was canceled.
Oh no.
Never saw.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Wait, what was the game called again?
Glider.
Glider.
Yes, a Russian hang gliding game.
Russian hang gliding game. Amazing. It was supposed to be for like the iPhone App Store or like
Yeah.
I
This was
see.
a company called Strategic Music that localized lots of video games. And I remember I booked this because only two people auditioned for it. I had been on Voice 123 for about 6 months and hadn't gotten, excuse me, any luck until finally Dmitry Kuzmenko reached out. And I say Dmitry because he's a friend of mine. Um, we ended up working on about 20 or so games over the next 5 years. And he went on to do a lot of other stuff in the video game sphere. Cool guy. He was really fun. I really enjoyed his company.
That's awesome. Wow. So 13 years ago is when you first landed your line, your,
Yeah, I guess that was
introductory.
August 3rd, 2009. So I had graduated a couple of months earlier. 2009 was my college graduation year at USC.
USC, right? Gotcha. Well, wow, what a career though. Like, from voicing like a little like, cell phone app game to now, like major roles in anime and video games, and it's just so crazy, right? To see like the growth. But have you always like wanted to be a voice actor when you were younger as well, or did you just kind of get, into this like after you graduated or during your time at USC?
Yeah, I always wanted to be an actor, and there's lots of different ways to do it, and I just found that I was really good at messing with my voice, and I had a real knack for doing things that people couldn't really do. Um, and I found a lot of early success online on these sites like Voice 123, where I was doing Audible.com, where I did about 200 audiobooks in a 3 year period, and just did as much work as possible to not have to have a day job. And that was my main goal. Um, so it was yeah, I kind of fell into it. I mean, it's weird. I say it because a lot of people now, it's like a dream of theirs. I want to become a voice actor. I want to do nothing but. And I just think it was growing up in the 90s, it's a different time. You don't think of voice actors a lot when we were growing up. It was kind of an afterthought, not like it is today now. So yeah, kind of fell into it in that respect.
I
What
see.
was there ever anything growing up that you would like to do voices of, like shows, PBS Dragons Tales, perhaps, or anything, for example? Just wondering,
I
just
did.
random example.
I did one of my favorite. I would annoy my sister a lot. Harada has actually met my sister, by doing loud and very annoying voices uh, while PBS or Nick Jr. was playing. I would just parrot back all the voices, and one of them was, "To learn more about Dragon Tales, visit PBS Kids at pbskids.org." It was one of my favorites. That's how I learned how to do that voice, by watching Dragon Tales.
Dragon Tales, wow. So you yeah, you've always had like that knack in you where you always, kind of wanted to either do acting or like using your voice to do, different characters and so forth.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Awesome. So yeah, like you've been voice acting for so many years, like 13 years. And were there any like kind of hurdles in the beginning after like that glider voice
Well, the
career? Yeah.
$85 unfortunately didn't go far. I remember using that money to buy a better microphone, which helped. Um, and man, I mean, it's constant hurdles and constant learning, and every week,
Mm,
one, two, three, four, five, six. I have six auditions for Monday. A couple of them require me to do like extra work and practice to do, and that's just like the everyday grind of it. And so it's always a struggle. And then you hope that the opportunities that you're getting gets better and better over time.
mhm.
Uh, but it's not guaranteed. So you're always working as hard as you possibly can to get those opportunities.
What would be like a part of some of the extra work? Like you have to research the character, or something more technical?
Um, for example, this is a voice match audition for this appears to be a movie. And so I have a script and I have the guide, um, and I have to record it and try to do my best. It's got an accent too.
Mm.
This one is this one's a callback, which is exciting, but with callbacks, you really want to work hard on it. It's 4 pages of dialogue. And it's like, all right, okay, I know I'm in the running for something. So let's actually research this property and let's actually research these lines and work really hard on them. I learned early in my career not to take any audition casually because they can hear that. There were a couple of things that I booked because I sounded bored or casual, a couple of commercials. But other than that, it's because you work really hard on these auditions that it really comes through.
Wow, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of work put in, but it definitely has pays off, right?
One would hope, yes.
Well, no. I mean, with the characters that you have, I'm pretty sure, it's just even though it's a work in progress, like the more you do it, the better you get at it, right? So, um
Absolutely, yeah.
so is there anything in particular that you kind of use to network as a voice actor, or is it just kind of like throwing it out into the open, like just getting whatever auditions there are and just keep on doing that, or is there a specific like network that you go through, or
Definitely do as many auditions as you can.
Mhm.
But I would do any opportunity I could to network. I'm not a natural networker, so I would
Mhm.
find reasons to force myself to do it. Dimitri, for example, here I am working with this Russian guy on like a dozen of these iPhone apps, and I found out that he's going to a game developers conference. Same with another developer, Heikki Repo, who's Finnish, and they were working on a game called Oceanhorn that I had booked on Voice 123, and they were going to GDC, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to spend a little bit of my $85 and get myself to San Francisco and go meet developers at Game Developers Conference, and it ended up. It's funny. I don't think any of those times that I went actually ended up getting me work, but it got me better and deeper friendships with the people who I did work with, which was really, really helpful. Oh, wait, no, one of the people I met was Harada himself. That was at GDC. That's right. And Harada for sure has gotten me lots and lots of work and looked out for me.
No, 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 no. We're just good friends. But yeah,
Just
no,
good for me.
actually, but yeah, I mean, that actually ties into a question that I had and wanted to circle in actually with GDC. So, there's a lot of hustle and bustle when it comes to building a network. I know that at one point, again, you would be doing basically a 6-hour drive from LA to San Francisco, one way back and forth. So, do you have any other stories or anything like that that you would want to share, or advice that you would want to share to people to get into the entertainment industry in general, whether it be in games, movies, what have you, animation? I know that you're also developing your own video game as well, indie developing. So, with that, is there any advice that you want to give? One thing that you kind of said that I really liked is that even though it might have not given you as much work, the opportunity and the chance to just go to the game developers conference kind of at least expanded your overall global reach. So if you have any other stories or any advice that you'd like to give people, that I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's not letting yourself um, stop looking for new opportunities. And I think that's very much in with what we're doing with developing our own game. Is I could continue just being a voice actor, have a nice living, and but even though it's hard work to develop your own game, there's no question that that's what we're going to do next for sure. It's and I think that was with the audiobooks. It was not necessarily something I wanted to do, but the opportunity was there, and they said, "Can you work? There's work. However much you want to do it." And I made it happen. I bought a microphone, realized that the only safe place to record was in my car, because it was the only soundproof ish place I had. And the only place to record in my car was between midnight and 6 a.m. out in the mountains of Los Angeles because planes didn't fly over. So that's how I got my start recording audiobooks, not because it was a passion or it was because these books were really good. It was just that there was an opportunity there, and so you take it. So take whatever opportunities there are, even if there's not a direct path to success, you never know where these things might lead.
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely, definitely. I mean, like, there's just so many, there, like everything you do, I think, is a buildup that eventually comes into fruition, gives you an opportunity in the future. So I think it's really inspiring to hear like how even if you're super prominent in the industry, like the beginning, the roots of how you got into the industry is still very like, yeah, inspiring for people who are interested in voice acting, or anyone who's just trying to get their foot into any kind of industry that they want, like whether it be anime or video games or so forth. But yeah, I think it's very interesting, like how the voice acting like career works in the US, because in Japan it's quite different. Like in Japan it's almost like going through like most of it's through agents, and like of course like people audition all the time and so forth too, but like once you are a voice actor in Japan, they expect you to like be able to sing and dance, and like you have to go to do stage events, and sometimes you even have to do concerts and so forth. And I think yeah, it's just like it's so different to see, because I live in Tokyo, and I do go to these events. I do go to these like anime events and like video game talk shows or whatever. And it's just like it's so different, I think. I feel like I'm very like connected with the Japanese side, but not so much the American side. So it's super cool to hear how the voice acting works in the US. But in lieu of that, have you like worked with any Japanese voice actors or actresses before, or like talked to them about their character or anything?
No, never. I wish I had a more interesting answer. Never
Mm.
happened. I would love to meet Yuichi Nakamura. I work with him as Bruno for JoJo,
Mm.
um, Karamatsu, Inosumatsu, and Professor Cerise.
Mm.
And I'm really impressed with his work. He has a great range and really great sense of humor. I get excited to hear his take on lines. I think he's a really good actor, and I'm honored to share so many roles with him.
Oh, awesome. So like I guess you don't really on the US localization side, you guys don't really communicate too much with the Japanese side or the actors or actresses themselves, right?
Ever. It's
Mm.
happened a couple of times. I know, like Max met the Japanese Saitama, but
Mm.
it's very rare. That hasn't happened.
Oh, I see, I see. But how about like at cons and stuff? Do you guys ever like if you were in the same con at the same time, do you ever like talk to each other or say like, "Oh, you're, voice of so and so. I am too." you know?
Uh, it has never happened to me, unfortunately.
Really? That's
Not once.
interesting.
No, I've never been at a con with Nakamura-san. I don't think.
Hmm.
So yeah, hasn't happened.
I see, I see.
I wish I had a more interesting answer, but there's nothing there, unfortunately.
No, it's just quite interesting because Harada told me that currently you're learning Japanese or studying Japanese.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was just kind of curious, like if you have had interaction with Japanese voice actors or actresses, and but if not, it's okay. But yeah, about studying Japanese though, like how long have you been studying? This is like new info that Harada told me, so I was like, oh, he's studying Japanese. That's cool.
Well, yeah, I've been studying on and off for a while, and this past year I got back into kanji, and I've
Mm.
about a little over two-thirds done with those. But really learning it, because the first time around, I'd only learned the meanings, but not, or I'd learned on or kunyomi, but not both. Now I'm learning both
Oh yeah.
for every single thing, grammar, and then taking lessons every single day or
Wow.
every weekday. Yeah, I'm ready to just actually do it instead of doing all these piecemeal things. Let's just do it. I've been to Japan before and spoke conversationally, and it's okay, but I want to actually have much better fluency than I have now.
Wow. So then how many like years have you been learning Japanese?
That's the thing. It's not year like you could say 6 years, but that makes it sound like you're studying for 6 years, and I'm not.
Right. Oh,
I'll study
I
for like
see.
3 months here, 3 months there, but that's about it.
Gotcha, gotcha. So how's the process like for you? Like, do you feel, for example, like conversation's easier, but kanji's like crazy or
For me, my reading is very good because I know a lot of
mm,
kanji. But
mm,
conversation, I have almost no practice. So
uh,
that's the thing. I was able to get around Japan and ask questions and get out of the city and deal with really simple things, but not really have a one-on-one conversation with somebody. Not at all.
oh, okay, okay. So I guess but reading wise, like since it's you're very you like kanji, do you enjoy like learning kanji?
Very much, yeah. They're really interesting. They're fun. They're your friends. They're characters that you hang out
That's like so rare. Most people, when you ask them, "Do you like kanji?" They're like, "Oh, I hate kanji. It's the worst," or something like
Oh
that.
no, they're fantastic. I hate reading hiragana because you don't know what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
not as fluent. I like it when it's kanji because then it's absolute. You're absolutely sure what they mean
Mm.
when they're writing it down. So that's much easier for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I personally love kanji as well. And when I say that I love kanji, my friends who are like, either studying Japanese or they also are bilingual, they're like, "Oh, why?" And I'm just like, it's just like, it's easy because when you know like the root, especially of the kanji, it's like, okay, this probably means this, right? Or like, okay, I
Yeah,
know that like this character is in this kanji, so it's probably, like this trying to say this. So yeah, for me, like kanji is kind of like depicting code. It's just like, oh, okay, like these are, the
yeah,
things and I understand context that way. But yeah, I agree. Hiragana is a bit more difficult to learn, yeah, because it's just a lot of like vocabulary, I think, right, that you have to
ambiguous.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like how about the grammar side? Do you enjoy learning the grammar?
it's okay. I haven't gotten as deep as I could. I can do simple sentences and stuff like that, but volitional and things like that, but nothing like too crazy. Not yet.
Mm, mm. Would you like to in the future like voice maybe something in Japanese?
Oh wow. Yeah, sure. That'd be fun. That'd be really cool.
I mean, yeah, with your voice is so versatile. I think like if you can really get a good grip of the Japanese language, then yeah, maybe like there would be opportunities doing something in Japanese. That would be super cool, I think. I think like
Be
everyone
very,
would want
very
to,
cool.
yeah, everyone would want to hear that too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but speaking of Japanese, so like there's a constant dialogue. I'm not sure if you and Harada are quite familiar, but like on the fandom side, there's always like a dialogue that like, oh, localization messed up a line, or like this
Mm,
is different, or like it's kind of like
that's my life right now.
it changes right from the Japanese original text to when it is localized because it has to flow right. Like even though the meaning might be slightly altered, the flow has to kind of feel the same as the original, right? So it's a constant dialogue in many fandoms, not just video games, but also in like anime and so forth. And I was just kind of curious, like. What do you think about like the localization process where sometimes they have to sacrifice true meaning to get like the kind of the message across in a different way, in a more localized way.
Well, what you're saying is what localization is rather than translation.
Right.
You're going to localize it. It doesn't work when you just do word for word the Japanese or exactly the same intent. So much flavor is lost when you don't have great localization. I think about Jalen Cassell did such a great job with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
Mm.
with capturing the flavor, the craziness of the language that the the um, the lines wouldn't be that in Japanese at all, but it would be the same level of bizarreness. And I think that was great. It wasn't exactly the idioms that the Japanese was using; it was our own idioms, but they sounded really good.
Right.
I think that's the highest level of localization you can get for sure. But not all things have the budget for that or the creativity for that kind of stuff. So sometimes it's just a translation.
Mm. Yeah, like especially when it's localizing jokes and puns, it's quite difficult because it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of Japanese is contextual. So like it depends on what's happening on screen to, kind of get that feel, right? So I think that's really interesting. Is there anything else like that they did really funny creatively for JoJo? I actually haven't really like followed that closely.
You've always, I love the, because I don't think that Bruno says this in the Japanese, but after the arrivederci, it's, I know you've always been the ultimate loser. Don't change on my account. So good. It's like, oh, what a great burn. I think the Japanese is something totally different, but it's just great. It's just, it sounds, it's the same amount of intent. You have the idea is you're ending a scene, a fight scene in a really cool way. You have a cool line at the end. Well, the ultimate screw up. Don't change on my account. You have you need a badass line, and sometimes you need to change some words around for that, and that's okay as long as the people enjoy it. And if they want the Japanese translation, it's there in the subs. They can have it.
Right,
Go have
right.
fun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, if they're not happy with the localization, there's always the original subs, right?
For
So,
sure.
yeah. But I think like when I was playing FF15 at the time in like 2016, there was a pretty like big line that a lot of people were, I mean, not so much like upset about, but it's more like they were talking about it because it was a bit different from what it was in Japanese. And I don't know if you recall, but like, I mean, it's a very, very like big line. But like, so at towards the end of the game, Noctis says, like to his to the bros, like, you guys are the best, right? And I thought that delivery was amazing, right? Like I was crying at that time. But the Japanese one actually says like it says in verbatim, ore omaera no koto ga suki da wa, which is like, I love you guys. And there's a little bit of a nuance, right? That's different there. And I know that that was quite a prominent like dialogue that was always kind of talked about in the fandom at that time. Is there like, what do you think about that kind of nuance when they like, they try to take the same feeling, but they kind of also lose a bit of the deeper meaning there, right? So
Well, ski dana can also mean like you, right?
right. But in the context, it would be love. Like I like you. Yeah, it would be I love you guys because
I love you guys for that one.
yeah, it depends. Yeah, ski is quite a difficult like word because it means like, but it also means love. But it depends on the context of how it is translated, right? And also what is happening in the scene. So like I think generally that line would be like like either I really like you guys or I love you guys because of how the bonds between the bros. So I was just wondering like what do you think about that nuance?
I think one of the reasons why that was changed was also, one of the challenges of localization is not only that you have to make the lines reflect their meaning, but also fit the time. And I believe that line is two parts, right? And you guys are the best. And so you have to also translate something that has two distinct parts that also fit into time. And if you were to say, you guys, I love you, be odd, or I love you guys so much, or I
True.
love you guys. Odd, odd. So I
Right.
don't know. It's something. Obviously, Square Enix team is competent. They know how to speak Japanese,
Right.
and so they chose it for that reason. So I'll trust
Right.
them on that.
Yeah, I think like a lot of the times people don't really understand that like timing wise also is quite difficult to match up with the original text. So but yeah, there has been like several lines not just in Final Fantasy but in anime and so forth that's like kind of debated over and over, and it's just kind of interesting because yeah, localization is not the same thing as translation, right? So do you ever like get when you're in the recording booth, do you ever get like direction like, oh, this was actually said in this way in Japanese and this is how we're going to say it in English? Like, do they ever tell you the actual original text?
For anime, they'll have the original translation always on the far right column. So they have
Oh.
the line that you're saying, and then the original translation's on the far right. And a lot of directors use that if, so say you do a line and it's seven flaps short, it's not even close. And
Oh.
so the director has to be like, all right, we have to add some words or some syllables to this sentence, but I need to know the exact meaning of the original sentence so I can try to localize this on the fly. And so they'll look at that original translated sentence to come up with some ideas or to come up with some meanings or feelings that are to that they can add for just some more syllables. So that's always there. And then in Japanese, it's usually written in Japanese next to the line on the left-hand side of the Excel spreadsheet. And since I read Japanese pretty well, that is really, really helpful because then I'll be able to understand what kind of nuance is going on.
Oh, that's very interesting. I didn't know that they give you like all three, the original text in Japanese, the translation, and then the localization.
Yep.
Has there been like, do you have any like interesting or funny like examples that like the director's like, oh shit, like we have to localize this ASAP, like like on the fly?
No, but that's every day. That's
Oh,
there is
really?
not a session that goes by that we have to change something. I mean, anime writing is very, very low paying job and extremely difficult. They have to watch the whole thing, get the time code right, take the translated line, put it in for every single character, and keeping, you want every character to have their own voice in terms of syntax, and that's a really hard thing to do if you're an underpaid anime writer to make all these characters sound different and have their own voice. And so a lot of times, for example, what am I doing? What am I working on? Demon Slayer. Oh, that's not. Wait, what am I thinking? What am I thinking of? I have a specific memory of this is really recent. Some Demon Slayer. That doesn't make sense. It's where a character is overly formal and in the localization box. And since I know the character better, I'm like, okay, that doesn't work. Maybe it was Demon Slayer, and he was being like super formal, and me and the director were like, oh, this isn't right. This is just the writer adding this, but it doesn't fit the character, and so we'll be able to change that on the fly. Video game writing, usually the writer is there on the session and can advise you. The localizer is there, but on anime, the localizer is never there. The writer's never there. So it's
Oh.
much more of a kind of a workshop, a work in progress kind of thing. So that's every session you're rewriting and redoing lines and keeping it to. That's why they have the original translation in the Excel spreadsheet right there, so that you're on task and on point, since it changes
Oh.
so much during a recording.
Oh, interesting. And is this for anime only or video games also do that?
Anime, the writer and localizer are not there. Video games, they are there. So
Oh.
video games, usually you say, hey, this doesn't work, and the writer goes and writes it. In anime, in real time, you
Right.
sit and you wait, and they rewrite it, and then you redo it, and then you try it again. In anime, no writer's there, no localizer, almost never, and so you try your best as you go along.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know that it was kind of like yeah, a work in progress even on the recording days.
Oh, 100%. Oh, lines change
Wow.
all the time. Yeah, because a writer can have an idea or have a rate of speech that they think is reasonable, and then you do it. Or sometimes, just different actors speak at different rates and different characters speak at different rates.
Mm.
And so things can be a flap or two short. And so you're always patching and repatching as you go along.
Wow. That's fascinating. I did not know that. But so I mean, it's good that you understand and can read Japanese then, because then you're like, okay, like it's actually
It's
saying
fun.
this, right? Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
fun, yeah, yeah. Because then I can, especially with like ending particles, you can be like, oh, okay, he's being a little forceful on this.
mm.
That couldn't be expressed in English words, but in an English performance, I can add a zo of my own to the end, say.
Yeah, yeah. Once you add like a little bit of like yeah, vernacular sayings like it's difficult. Yeah, right. Like cuz like in Japanese there's no really way to like cuss, and like certain things are actually in depending on how you say it means different meanings, right? But it's just like on paper it's like zo, or like, like whatever, like plus da and stuff like that. So like it's a lot of interpretation, and it's put into what those lines mean, right? So I think it's like also gives you quite some space to play around with, right? So it's very interesting. Yeah. Wow. But that's fascinating. I did not know that. And Wow. Yeah, very, very different. So, like, with your current roles, right now, like, you mentioned Demon Slayer, like Uzui, and like you were also Sukuna in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, they've been such great roles. And is there like any specific role that like resonated with you, like not just among the new ones right now, but like in the past in your career, like any specific role that you're like, yeah, like this is me, like this is what I like to do, kind of thing.
Oh man, I mean the cop out answer, but also the real answer is that they're all so different, and then they all
Mhm.
mean such different things. It could mean, some roles. It's like for me, I always bring up Roy from Fire Emblem, somebody who I played as a kid for Super Smash Brothers Melee. Um, to be able to play somebody who never got voiced and be a part of that the history of that character. It's that means a lot emotionally. I haven't said a lot of amazing lines as Roy, obviously, uh, but the being able to be a part of that is insane. And then on the other side, there's parts that are really well developed, really well like tons and tons of dialogue that you work hard on, and you might not have a personal connection to the character, but you're like, oh man, this is really well written, and I really enjoy being a part of this. Um, like Be the Beginning, for example, something like that. I really enjoyed being such an intricate story, really fun. And then emotional characters, people like Noctis, who go on such a crazy emotional journey, and doesn't tell his friends that he loves them at the end. Great emotional journey. Uh, it's There's so many different things to do, and even to be a part of commercials. Sometimes it can be a real honor to be like, wow, I can't believe that this brand chose me for everything. It's You're always excited to be picked as an actor. You're putting yourself out there all the time, failing all the time, and when they say yes, it feels amazing.
Wow. I mean, even yeah, like commercials, like I mean, I'm sure it's very different than voicing characters, right? But like what do you kind of like, is there anything that you prefer to do? Like if for example, if it's a commercial or a character, like for example, upbeat like attitudes or like, like more stoic attitudes. Like what is there any specific thing that you kind of like are drawn to?
Oh, I really enjoy using all my tools.
Mm,
I I love doing. It's the fact that there isn't something that I return to that I enjoy.
mm.
Um, that there is always something different, and there is always a new challenge that I really like. That's very very fun.
What's the best commercial like role you've gotten that you enjoyed?
Best best commercial role. There's one. If, it's Kaluta's in chat. I'm sure she'll be on it. Finding it. It's an AT&T commercial I did where let's see what it's called. AT&T cows commercial. It's a cow. Oh, there it is. Hell yeah, it's puppets.
Puppets.
There they are. AT&T Connected Home 2021 cow. I play. There's a cow who's a model, and I
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Cow commercial? Are we talking? Is it a cow commercial?
I'm listening. I'm listening to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a cow doing modeling, and I'm
Cow
the
modeling.
photographer going,
Hold on. Let
yes,
me
yes,
just.
please give it to me. Yes, we love that. And it's very fun. That was
What?
fun. And I remember the ad agents were like, "Oh shit, you're not British. We're British. We can't believe it." So that was really fun. Being
I'm
British
sorry.
is amazing.
Wait, is it the when cows fly? Wait, no. Sorry. I'm trying to look for it so I can put it in chat.
AT&T Connected Home 2021
Connected,
cow.
connected home, 2021. Okay. Connected home. Oh, okay. It's like 5 minutes long. That's probably
No.
not it.
Like
Okay.
commercial.
Commercial.
Maybe you're
Okay.
just they're doing watching like a manual or something.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, here we go. I'm not sure if this is the one. There's like several, but if anyone in chat does know, please put it in the chat so everyone else can watch it. That is awesome. Wait, so it was a commercial for the U.S., but they wanted you to be British?
Yeah, it'll make sense if you watch it. It is an American commercial for sure.
Okay.
Where's Chad on Discord?
Oh, you won't be able to see it unless you're actually like watching the Twitch chat. But
Yeah, she's streaming this Discord call.
yeah. I'm not sure how we.
There you go.
There
Put
we
it in.
go. Okay. All right. Is this wait? Someone loud annoying is put it there.
That's me. Yeah.
That's you. Okay, got it. Thanks, Ray.
Kalu's been looking for this commercial for ages. Fantastic. I knew it.
Okay. Awesome. But yeah, okay. So you particularly like that because of you just like the range, or
It's great. Yeah, it's fun. It's stupid. I love it. It's
yeah.
great. You get to be dumb for an hour. It's great.
I see. I heard from Harada though that you really enjoy voicing the Master of Masters from Kingdom Hearts, like because it's kind of like similar to your personality or something. Like,
well, he's the only. I don't know if I'm that devious, but he is. He's one of the few characters I've voiced who's my own voice. I'm always putting on a voice for everybody, but he just talks like me, and that is really rare in the work that I do. And he's really fun to be a part of. Always, you just don't know what the hell he's going to say next, so it's really fun. He kind of breaks the rules of Kingdom Hearts pacing, which I enjoy. He comes in and says, "Nah, whatever. I'm just gonna screw around for a while," and I really enjoy that. I'd love to voice him again. He comes back.
do you like when you got the direction for Master of Masters, were they like, yeah, you don't need to do anything, just talk, because it's like your voice?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, because there was an audition,
Hmm.
and I remember working hard on that. Even though I didn't know what it was, I was like, "Oh, this seems interesting." And so they just played the audition, and we're like, "Do that." That's basically it. We did a movie. What the hell was it called? 2.8
Oh.
back cover.
Oh yeah,
Back
the one
cover.
0.2 or something. Yeah, the back cover. Yeah.
Back cover, and we just went line by line because it was already animated, and the Japanese was already in there, so it was really very clear what we had to do, and I really wanted to make sure that my voice matched his movements, because unlike a lot of people in Kingdom Hearts, he gestures a lot. I guess because he has no face is a real thing, and so I really wanted to make sure that all of my lines hit each of his erratic movements, which is very hard to do since they were not animated to English at all.
Oh, so what kind of like challenges did you have for that? Like what like you had to cut your lines, or like you have to emote differently? Like what was different?
No, you have to emote it correctly in the same amount of time, but also hit words, make the words hit the gesture and make it make sense. That is the job of the voice actor. And it's difficult to do, but it's fun to do because it's kind of like a puzzle.
Because you're like, okay, so he raises his hand here, so you should get to that note in this amount of time, like 3 seconds. Like, wow.
Yeah, and so like, all right, if I have to speed up these 4 words, then I can take these next couple of words a little bit slower, and you have to do it quickly. You make those decisions really, really quickly.
Oh, I see. Wow, that's very interesting. And yeah, I mean, yeah, like this year is actually the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts as well. So, it's very interesting to revisit these characters. And I watched that back cover movie and I thought it was great. And I was like, it would be so cool if they actually made more of these, more like longer movies. But I think that would be quite difficult to voice then, right? Or more time consuming, yes, than like voicing anime, for example.
Huh, interesting. I don't know. I think it takes a long time to do Kingdom Hearts because Disney is there. There's a lot of people who have opinions about it. But I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it would be a video game, hopefully. I mean, I don't know. Another movie? I would imagine that if they brought him back, he would be in Kingdom Hearts 4, and there would be a lot of cutscenes. But then there would be a lot of just systemic dialogue that would play, and that would go a lot faster because that's not necessarily animated to anything. But who the heck knows? I have no idea.
No,
I
was just I mean, I'm not talking about like Kingdom Hearts per se, but just in general, like having to match like, video game actions and character movements compared to anime where it's just, the lips are flapping. Like it's quite different, right, and more difficult, I guess.
I hear what you're saying.
Mm,
Yeah, lip flaps are great in that they're so non-specific. So as long as you're
right.
saying a syllable for a flap, it's great.
Mm,
It's much easier to work around. Whereas video games, yeah, it's a lot of they'll be a lot more intense on the mouth movement. But they have software for that. For Kingdom Hearts, for example, they filmed all of us as we talked, so that way they could match the lips for the English version. So we didn't have to worry about lip flaps so much, but we still had to worry about what the characters emoted and gestured and all that sort of stuff. They
right.
even filmed me for Master Masters, even though you can't see his face, which I thought was
Really?
interesting. Yeah.
Oh wow. So like just to see how you emote, like how, your face, like facial expressions move or something, or
Ostensibly, yes, but you don't see his face. I think it's just, you film everybody else, so you film this guy too because the camera's already there. Just press record.
mm, I
Why
see, I
not?
see. Oh, so when you're voice acting, they record you sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they do
More and
for
more,
facial animation.
more and more often. Yeah,
Oh.
I would say.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Even though they had the like if it's like a video game or the anime, they already have it there, like, it's already made, they still record you, or is this when
Oh,
it's
so
not
I
made?
think okay. So anime, yeah, it's already made.
Mm.
Although sometimes not. Sometimes the anime does animate to the English.
Oh.
But uh, with video games, it's a software that you put in after. So you have the Japanese version with Japanese actors recorded, then you have the English version with the English lips, and so it's the same exact thing, but the lips are different. That is
Yeah.
something that they've only been doing the last like 5 years or so, but it's fantastic and it makes things look a lot better.
Oh, the lip syncing, right? Because in the past they had to manually do that, yeah.
Or not do it at
Yeah,
all.
they
Or not do
Yeah.
it at all.
well, they would usually sometimes get a camera and put it on the face. It's a what personally for me breaking into animation back in the day. That was actually my first job as facial animation, and one of them was with different translations and everything. So literally, what Ray's saying is what my first job in the industry actually was.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know about, like, sometimes they have to like last time when we talked to John, he said that like sometimes the lines were the content, the video cutscene wasn't made yet. John Bentley for Barrett from
Hmm.
FF7 remake, and he said that like he got some lines where like he just had to say them and then they animated it from that. So, I guess that's kind of like yeah, there's different ways of doing it, right, in video games and anime. So that's very interesting.
A lot of times these video games are made by different studios for different sections.
Mm,
They'll
Yeah.
outsource animation uh, for certain parts, and so you're working with different production pipeline on a couple of minutes of a game.
mm,
Hmm.
gotcha. But yeah, sorry, just now the Kingdom Hearts question. I didn't want to put you on the spot or anything. I just wanted to know the difference between video game and anime recording.
For sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so for your like get your roles in different series, like whether it be Final Fantasy 15 or Kingdom Hearts or Nier, Tales of, and so forth. Like, is there any kind of character? You kind of brushed upon it just now, but like, is there any character that you gravitate to, and like, for example, Master of Masters or anyone besides Roy that of course many you've said that it's you were playing it as a kid and then you became Roy, like that's crazy, right? But is there any other type of character you tend to gravitate towards?
Lead roles, I love them. Those are the best kind. Fantastic. Let's do
Nice.
them. No, everybody's fun. I like variety. I think that's really what it is. I like changing my voice and doing different people. And lead roles are fun because they normally go on an emotional journey. But then you have smaller parts which are more fun because they get to be wackier, take bolder choices. So I don't know. It's all great. Just a really fun job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very very clear that you love doing what you're doing, and it's reflects in your in the work that you do. So I'm very very thankful, Ray, that you've been so great with so many characters, and that you've taken time to talk with us about it too.
For
um,
sure. No, it's my pleasure.
yeah,
Yeah, and actually, I know that you had your little name in there, loud and annoying, right there. So I guess that segues into one of my questions and just points is that it's crazy to think that it's already been 5 years, that has already passed since group of my friends, and you guys with loud annoying with lava, I should say, kind of like branching off and like you guys doing the Twitch stuff. I'm just wondering because obviously a lot of people are watching on Twitch and everything like that. They're looking to be getting into streaming, whether or not they already are. Do you have any advice and also any fun, crazy stories that you guys have done and experienced throughout these 5 years of streaming and exploring the crazy world of Twitch?
Never listen to me about advice on streaming. I'm using the word. I don't have a lamp, and but one little backlight that I forgot to put on instead before the call. I just bought a webcam, finally, and oh, my internet's great, right? This is
I mean, it looks
finally
great. Like it's not.
we got Starlink today, finally, and it's been fantastic. 300 megabytes
Oh,
down.
nice.
It's what I've needed out here in the woods, and I'm so excited. So don't listen to me about streaming advice. What else? It's important that Max, Robbie, and I really love each other. I mean, it's insanely. We talk about it all the time ad nauseum how lucky we are to have each other. It's really hard to make friends in the industry because you don't know who really likes you and who just wants to get to know you and all that sort of stuff. And it's insane that we all met each other at the beginning of our careers, even though we were wildly different ages, and that we all are very entrepreneurial, funny, creative, and annoying, and it works out really well.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah,
So
your setup. You can. I mean, it looks all right. Just add like a neon thing, and then you're good.
Yeah, the camera, I got an Elgato and it comes with one of them dang key lights. So
Yeah.
like getting better. Then I need
one
to
of the dang key lights.
put this make this pink and blue. Or no, wait, it's oh you got it, Audrey. Yeah, that magenta.
Oh yeah, like
Needs to
magenta or whatever.
to
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's so funny because I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was like, in 30 years, our kids or who, the generation's gonna look back and be like, ew, like why would people use neon lights in their decorations? And it's kind of true, right? Like maybe they will be like that, but in
Well,
the
I think
now, it's what's important,
yeah,
right?
it's vaporwave, so it comes from 90s. And when you look back at 90s stuff, you go, oh, wow, that's way too much. And
Yeah,
so we softened the 90s neon lights, but they're still neon lights. That's where
right.
they come from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, just add a little magenta, be good to go. Have Stella in the background.
Oh, yeah. Should some streamers I watch have dog cams. That would be a really good idea.
Oh, that was
There
funny.
you
You can't
go.
see Milo, so you can't see him. Oh, he's right there. Dang it, Milo. Dang it. He's just out of frame.
I remember one
Um,
in a previous Aitai chat, one of my mods, a staff of mine was like modding, and he kept on like putting like in our private chat. He was like, "Oh my god, Harada's dog is so cute," because Harada had a dog in the back too. Yeah, and
Startup, yeah.
like yeah, he was like freaking out. So yeah, dog cams definitely A plus for sure, for
But
sure.
yeah, I know we touched on this very briefly, Ray, but just would love to circle back. I know obviously everyone knows you for your voice acting, but I think that it's actually really unique and exciting that you're also exploring. Maybe it's just because I'm selfish, but the game developer world. I think I love that this world and this industry, and so with you, exploring and developing some stuff from your experience, what has been the biggest hurdle for you when developing a game? For me personally, whenever I developed an indie game, or developing actually right now an indie game on the side, I found that it was a challenge at first. In the prototype and pitching for funding phase. Would love to hear your opinion on the overall process.
Hmm. It's a good question. We're doing two games, and
Mm-hmm.
one is the pitching funding phase, and one of them is the almost done phase. And being almost done is a lot easier for sure. I would have to say, yeah, the pitching stuff is really tough. Because it can be it's demoralizing. You put in so much money and effort into something, and everybody says this is great, and then never returns your calls, and so you're like, God damn. So what's the lesson to be learned there? So that's tough. But with this game that is coming out now, it is really cool because the beginning stages of a game, you don't get to see much progress. It doesn't look like much. And then the end stages, you get to put all the final touches, all the really cool stuff, all the voices, and it starts to look and feel really, really good like a video game. And that's been really, really fun. But and hurdles with that, not yet. Fortunately, we work with really good people.
Nice. No, that's good. Yeah, we definitely need to circle back on that offline. So looking forward to chatting more with you on that. And then would you say that being a voice actor in, in some huge games and everything provided a unique perspective when developing your own indie games and, your overall approach to how we're gonna or how you're going to develop this with your friends?
What was the question part?
So basically, would you say that, in your opinion, being a voice actor, working in AAA games and everything like that, the overall process, understanding, as you said before, sometimes in games, you'll have the writer, at the booth and everything versus anime and stuff like that. w- I guess the question is, has that, made it a little bit easier, or has that changed your approach
Being a voice
to
actor
developing video games?
Has being a voice actor helped in developing video games? I
Yeah.
would say no, but it's because of the type of voice actor that I am, because I've always been interested in the making of games, that I have always been, going to GDC and going to talks and listening to podcasts, and being um, enmeshed in that world has always been something that I've been interested in. So yeah, seeking that out has happened. But if you're just a voice actor and you don't care, you never know anything about making video games for sure.
I see. So like then that means that the voice acting process is like purely just voice acting. When you're in the booth, they never really talk about like, oh, this was made like this, and this is how we're supposed to, do this voice to market this character or anything. It's just purely just voice acting.
Correct. Yeah, they try to
Mm.
keep us as little informed as possible for good
Mm.
reason. A lot of people can misconstrue things or spread weird rumors or not understand what's confidential and tweet something out. So I get that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that like being a voice actor, you just you I heard that you only get the script on the day that you go in, right?
For video games, yeah.
Yeah, so then that I'm guessing that's also because of NDA reasons, right? Like they don't want to give it beforehand, so you're like, "Oh, I
No,
know what
usually
happens," or
maybe, but it's
Hmm.
also because they're so in flux. Video games are so in flux. Usually the writer is
Yep.
writing up until midnight the day
Yeah.
before,
Oh god.
finalizing
Yeah.
these lines
It's
for sure.
Oh
it's not
god.
even done until, yeah. That I've
And it
been
is
into
less
situations
helpful.
like
Like,
that.
I was sent a video game script for something that I did a couple months ago, and it was 100,000 cells long,
Oh
and
my.
you can't just sit and read that and inform yourself. You really need somebody to help you understand what the story is. So it's understandable why video games don't do that, because it really
Right.
isn't that helpful to get the stuff beforehand.
Oh, so it's not
What
like
has been helpful that a lot of games and animated companies have been doing are doing meetings before the session, and that's been fantastic to talk about the character, to talk about what the project is, where they're going. I've seen a lot of companies do that, and it's really, really awesome. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Oh, so like they have like kind of a session to update everyone on like what's going on. Like, okay, this is the scene we're gonna do, and then what the character's gonna do, kind of like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you book the role, they do it once at the beginning. Not before every
Oh,
session,
not every time.
but yeah,
Oh,
once.
okay,
They'll
got
say like,
it.
"Hey, here's the game. Here's what it's called. Here's what the gameplay looks like. Here's a trailer, an internal trailer we have. Here's what your character looks like. Here's the other characters. Here's the general tone. Here's what we're trying to say." That has been fantastic. Not everybody does it, but it's been awesome.
I see, I see. Have you just yeah, question I just thought of, but like have you ever watched or do you like watching and playing the games that you voiced in?
Oh, for sure. If it's a good game,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Or I mean an anime as
absolutely,
well.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, if it's a good anime. I've been playing Sekiro. Finally, it's been mocking me for 3 years. I played the first like 5 hours and was terrible, and then I played the first 5 hours again, but it took me 20 hours because I'm terrible. But now I'm finally good. I'm on the last boss, and it feels great. That's a fantastic game, and I'm when I did it, it didn't seem like much because I don't have that many lines in it. But man, it's an honor to be a part of that game. What a high quality game.
Nice. How about anime? Like any animes that you watched that you voiced in?
Yeah, I've been watching Jujutsu Kaisen and
Nice.
Demon Slayer, keeping up with
Of course.
this new season. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And then I've been watching JoJo Part 6, which has been fantastic too.
Oh, Star Ocean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But do you like enjoy watching anime and playing video games? Like, is that your hobby? Do you like? Because some people are very detached. Like, for example, like John Bentley Barrett from FF7 remake. He didn't even play or finish the game. So
For
he,
sure. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's different people.
right.
No, I grew up with video games and anime, and I love watching and playing and being a part of it. Absolutely, 100%.
Oh, that's
I don't
awesome.
do much else.
Do you prefer to play it in English or in Japanese, or watch in English or in Japanese?
English always,
Oh,
100%.
really?
Japanese, because Japanese, you have to look at the screen. And
Right,
a lot of
right.
times for anime, I'm working out or doing something else. I like having it on in the background, touching base, going in, doing another thing. And same with English, or with video games like Sekiro. To have to watch the subtitles all the time would be so distracting.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, English for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, some people are like, oh, I only play it in Japanese, or I only play it in English, or I mean, not English. Sorry, I only watch anime in Japanese as well. But I'm just like, I like whatever.
For
I'm
sure.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is there
There's no law.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. There's no law, so it's just whatever you're comfortable with. But I guess like in a more general term, like, what's your favorite video game and what's your favorite anime and why?
Favorite video game is not voiced. It's called Slay the Spire. I have over 1,000 hours in it. It's the greatest game ever made. It's the best. There's nothing better than it. It's a roguelike. It's the original roguelike deck building game. Came out about 5 years ago. It's
Uh,
the best. It's the best. Anime, like Fully Cooley. I liked
yeah.
Evangelion. I was really happy to be a
Oh
part of that.
yeah.
Um, I like JoJo. I think maybe
Yeah.
JoJo might be my favorite. Yeah, those are mine.
Oh man, JoJo. So you've watched like all from 1 to 6, and you're pretty caught up, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh man, I have so many friends who love JoJo, and I'm like, I haven't really followed that closely, and I'm like, it's just such a journey to go on it. I'm like, oh man, like, do I have the time?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember being recommended you have to watch it in this order and don't give up and all that sort of stuff. But
Right. Right.
just watching it all the way through from the beginning was fantastic.
Oh, awesome, awesome. That's so cool. And then you're also, the voice of Bruno in Golden Wind, so that's super, super awesome, right? And an honor, right, to be able to land that role that you watch and enjoy as a series too, right?
I couldn't believe it because
Mm.
I'd already voiced a bunch of smaller roles in the series before, and I thought, damn, I'd love to be a part of part 4. I didn't get any auditions, and so I was like, okay, I'm done. But then part 5 came, and I got auditions, so I couldn't believe it, and I spent a lot of time on those. I was really happy to be a part of that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, it's really great to hear, your different experiences on not just anime but video games, and also, with your indie game, do we have like a do you have a idea of when you're going to be releasing it?
Next quarter,
Next quarter.
we
Oh.
are supposed to do it next quarter.
Oh wow.
Shouldn't be any problems. It should be okay. Should be next quarter.
Okay, wow. We're
That
yeah,
tone says it
looking
all.
forward to it.
Yeah. The game is basically done. There's some more voiceover that needs to be implemented, and then there's more promotional stuff. But the game is done.
Oh wow. Okay, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Are you voicing any of the characters?
Yep.
Oh, you are. Okay, okay, awesome. Of course, right? Makes sense.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
Yeah, it would be odd if you weren't, right? Or at least a little cameo. That's awesome though. Congratulations, Ray, with your indie game, and we're really excited to hear more about it. Where can we learn about that? Like, can you give us like some links or whatever that we can?
Wish I could, but I can't.
You can.
We've got
Oh,
nothing. That's what I mean. Where the promotional stuff still has to happen. So we've got
gotcha,
nothing.
gotcha. So as long as we follow your socials, then we can get updated as soon as it comes out.
Right.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking about all of these different things about voice acting and the video game industry with us. I guess right now we'll just have kind of open the floor to a couple of questions from the audience. If anyone has questions for Ray, if Ray, if you're okay with time.
Sure.
Awesome, awesome. So, for everyone in chat, if you guys have any questions, just be sure to highlight them so we can see what your questions are. Okay, I got one right here. It says, has any character you've been involved with voicing caused you to cry by your own performance, especially since you voiced a lot of tragic characters such as Young Nier, Eve, Noctis, Bruno, and so forth?
Sure, that's so funny how it's worded that my performance is so good that I cry. It makes me laugh. No, you would hope that if you're acting and you're crying or you're playing somebody who's going through an emotional moment, that you would cry through it. So yeah, it's not that the performance has made me cry. It's more that that's what I'm going through, and I'll cry. So like, yeah, for Noctis, I was crying for sure. Yuki Atsu in Anohana was a lot of crying.
Oh
Charlotte,
yeah.
these were ones where it's real. That's you hope that you get the chance to do these emotions in a role, and it's fun. It's some of the most fun you can have while acting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, does it feel like sometimes weird that you like hear yourself in emotional, scene and you're like, "Oh god." Does it detach yourself from the story or does it actually like, you don't mind it?
When I'm watching it later, you mean?
No, when you're like playing through it or when you're watching it, like and then you hear yourself in an emotional scene, are you like, "Oh, well,
When
like
I'm
a bit."
watching it after it's been made or
Yeah,
while I'm making it?
after it's been made, sorry. When it's
Oh,
done,
no,
yeah.
God, no. I mean, it feels great. It's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I nailed that. That's
Yeah.
great. That's the job. You'd hope that it's good.
Right, right, right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I know some people, when they hear their voice, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to hear my voice," But I mean, guess it's different for, when you're really into the character.
Yeah, and it helps that I'm not doing my own voice. It's they talk like this. It's great. That's not me. It's somebody else.
Gotcha, gotcha. There's another question. It says, by NY Crownless King, has getting back to the role like after it's finished and hearing yourself, does it detach you? Yeah, kind of what I asked just now. Like you don't feel detached from your characters after it's done.
No, I don't think so. Detached. I don't know. I guess I just don't know what that means. I Yeah, I don't know. Maybe what you're going for is like when we do something, you're in your head about it because you're going one line at a time and you're thinking and you're putting a lot of effort into each line. And then usually like 8 months to a year goes by, and then you watch or play the thing and you've forgotten all of those moments. And so you're not so in your head when you're watching it again because you've forgotten it. And so you're like your regular audience member getting to watch it or play it through one time. That's for Sekiro for sure. I forgot everything that I recorded for that. And so playing through it, you're like, oh, cool. Wow, there's all this story stuff that I had no idea was going on. That's
Mm.
very fun.
Awesome, awesome. Someone said, let's see, Zeet19, non-voice acting related question, but what's your favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert is custard. Any sort of custard is the best. Creme brulee, something that's
Mhm.
pudding like, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, it's Kalu is asking, has developing your own game
My
led
favorite
you?
dessert, Julia.
Oh,
Pasta, and I got really confused.
What's my favorite dessert?
I don't know. Tiramisu?
That's your favorite dessert.
I don't know.
tiramisu.
Tell me. I want to know so I can make it for you.
Custard, pudding, best.
Are you really sick?
Yes, custard.
How old are you?
What are you talking about? Kids eat custard or adults eat custard?
Custard is not a word that exists outside of dessert chef cookbooks. Like it doesn't exist in popular culture anymore.
I'm saying puddings like substances that are cold.
Pudding like substances.
Also, you can go to custard shops
But you don't like
and get
rice pudding.
custard.
That is a
Rice?
pudding.
It's disgusting. That's not the same consistency.
See, I just want to make sure that everybody knows.
Stella's growling at you because you're being mean.
I'm not being mean. I'm being specific. There are a lot of caveats. Two
Caveat.
questions of this.
Caveat, how old are you?
Custard pudding. Now I know. Now I can make it anytime. Now I know.
Julia made bread last week. What did you make? You made other fun things.
No, I made that bean stew, that white bean stew.
No, but dessert things. Oh, you made panna cotta, which is a custard.
Oh, it's like a
That's
custard.
right.
Yeah, it's like a custard.
My favorite.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Julia. But I mean, in Japan, like, yeah, custado is like custado. A lot of things are like with custard, so it makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's great.
Yeah, in Japan. I don't know about the US. Do you guys have, I mean, like, I haven't been back for, several years because of COVID, but I don't think I've ever seen custard being sold like in the supermarket as custard.
In a airport, I remember actually it was at it was actually for a Square Enix event with one of my coworkers. We were in a layover in an airport somewhere in the Midwest, and there was this giant kiosk that was just selling frozen custard. And we were like,
Oh.
"What?"
Yeah, that's what
But
I mean.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you can go to
I
frozen
forget which
custard
one, but yeah.
shops. Yeah, around the United States. We had Jerome's frozen custard in Las Vegas. So yeah, it's a thing. But what I mean is like cream filled donuts is a custard
Yeah,
involved
exactly.
thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's custard. Yeah.
Love it. Let's do it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's Kalu. Just now before the custard conversation, they're asking, has developing your own game led you to look at video games in a more critical sense, or can you still enjoy them as an enthusiast?
Oh man, I feel like if you play so many games, you have to be critical of them, regardless of if you're developing your own game or not. So yeah, I don't feel like this developing this game has made me more critical of games. I feel like you're just always, if you like movies, you're always critical of movies because you watch a whole lot of them. So I don't think that they're necessarily
Yeah.
related, or maybe they are. I don't know.
Well, to answer a little bit, I guess from mine, coming from a video game developer standpoint, it makes it a little bit more actually fun and humbling experiences. There was one where, and I actually love this story where it was a few years ago. I was my wife and I we got two PS4s and two monitors next to each other, and then one of my best friends, we like to say is her brother. He was working at Blizzard at the time, and he was working, on Diablo 3, and it was on the consoles. And I remember, just playing the game with him and everything like that. And I was trying to like, we got in a little bit of not an argument, but like debate. I'm like, no, they meant this and stuff. And then he actually had to like break down and say, I worked on this. What are you talking about? And I said, oh yeah. And so like, yeah, you lose. Like there's those moments where with friends and stuff, you try to theorize what people are thinking about, and those are moments I really enjoy where I'm playing with my friends. Like for example, like now I love Destiny, and a lot of my friends are either working at Bungie and stuff, and just hearing a lot of those stuff in the theory, it makes it a little bit more fun. In fact, it makes me appreciate games way more, in all honesty, because you understand just how much work and love and sacrifice is made to make these. It's not just like you know just an easy to go copy and paste process that a lot of people might think it is. There's a lot of sacrifice that's made and a lot of love. And yeah, even like the most big banger of all, like AAA games, even like the Call of Duty and stuff, like a lot of my friends, they put a lot of their heart and soul into each one. And yeah, so I never would say that any of these games are necessarily bad. And if anything, I actually love almost every game. So
Speaking of games, Harada, do you want to tell people what's behind you?
oh no, it's just a game. No, it's just something that I think Ray was a part of. I forget which title, but no, it's the official Amano painting from Final Fantasy 15. So got it back when I was working at Square Enix. So
It was the
yep.
actual original painting, yeah.
No, it's whatever. So
It's whatever.
That second half is so rare to see because that didn't make the cover.
Right,
yeah, no,
right.
this is on like the collector's edition stuff. No, more importantly, one thing that I love is actually the like Halo Reach helmet that I have right here. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
No, I have a whole bunch of video game rinky dinks around. So I love the game industry.
Awesome. So Blitz is asking, are there any moral lessons or ideas you keep with you after playing a character based on what they go through?
Wow. I don't think I do. That's an interesting question. I could lie and say yeah, but no, I don't think I do. That's interesting. I play a lot of good guys. Play a lot of bad guys. Play a lot of subway announcers. Take any of their morals. It's so
Especially
weird.
the subway
I'm trying
one.
to think. You know, here's the thing. I think that a lot of them are archetypes. And so there's not a lot. This sounds so reductive, but there's not like a thing where I can say, oh, because Weiss Steiner exemplified this trait in Eden Zero, I'll take it with me. It's like, oh, this is a trait that of heroism that I've seen in a lot of places. I can't say that my character is the only one who's come up with it. Yeah, I feel like you get your morals from everywhere. And I couldn't say that I couldn't pinpoint them to one performance or because Roy did this sacrifice. I knew it. It's because this archetype sacrifices. It's an interesting question. I think that's my answer.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Hallie Graham is asking another food related question. What kind of soup is your favorite?
There was it's gone. It's gone forever, right? I'll always every 5 years or so I'll Google it.
You have to Google a soup?
Henry's Kettle Soup.
Oh, I see.
Gone forever. Gone forever. It was the greatest soup of all time. They sold it at Long's Drugs back in Las Vegas 25 years ago. And it was the greatest. It had elves on the jar, and it was the best soup of all time. Nothing's ever been better than elf soup. The best. We'd buy dozens at a time because we were always afraid that they were going to run out because nobody ever seemed to like it, and that was my one love, and it's gone forever. You can't even Google it. It doesn't even come up.
It's oddly specific. I was thinking you're gonna say like clam chowder, or something like like minestrone.
You didn't know my soup backstory.
Oh, I don't. Okay. Oh, there's a backstory to it. Okay, got it. Someone else. Let's see. Lucina Lou 219 saying, "What's your favorite meme?"
Favorite meme? I love the Spider-Man, me and the boys, with the three dumb-looking villains. That was fun. That was great fun. That one of my favorites.
Jelly Belly is asking, "What's your favorite Japanese dish? Japanese food?"
Okonomiyaki, Hiroshima style for sure.
Oh yeah,
the best.
Hell yeah.
Whenever you can get that somewhere, I'll always go for it, regardless of if I'm in the mood for it. It's just like, yes, this is my chance to eat some okonomiyaki.
Yeah, specifically the Hiroshima style with the noodles. So good. And the egg.
That's the idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Little Huvian is asking, not voice acting related, but what was your reaction when you saw the Twitter header Max picked for you?
My reaction was, "Oh, Max!" It's fun. I guess I still have that as my Twitter header. I forget Twitter headers. You forget about that. You even have them because you don't usually go to your own profile.
Right. Maiden Deer is asking, does voicing characters in a video game ruin part of the story for you when you go back to play it? For example, by already knowing major plot twists or something like that before they happen.
No, because you never know the whole story, and it's always fun to see how it all comes together because you only know your character's side. And when you play through a game, you get to see everything around the character, other characters talking about your character, actions or scenes where there's no dialogue at all. That's the kind of stuff that adds a lot of intricacy that you're not even aware of. So it's always fun to see new stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of people talking about the custard. A lot of the custard. Let me see. Crownless King is asking, if you recall, you tried to create Noctis in FF14 3 years ago, but now recently from the event, a lot of players can create Noctis. Has Ray tried the Noctis event since its return in FF14? And with the game's recent media boom, have you jumped back into it?
No. It's too intimidating. It's too much. It's too much time. I can't. I have to play Slay the Spire. I have to put 5 hours a day into Sekiro and Slay the Spire.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm just not an MMO guy. Maybe I just need to give it more time, but not at this point in my life, unfortunately. I've heard so many good things, but I don't think it's for me.
Oh yeah, and the story is fantastic, but it is quite a time commitment. Thousands of
Exactly.
hours,
Yeah.
thousands of hours.
Yeah. I can't do that.
Yeah. Someone asked me in the previous stream of mine, or I think it was a stream of mine, that they're like, we have to talk about fishing with Ray. Like, do you personally like fishing?
No, hate it.
You hate
It's
fishing.
very boring and very cruel, and I don't like it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I can go out on a boat and read. I don't have to pretend to hunt. I don't get it. Not for me. I went out with my uncle once and we did catch and release, and he's like, "Oh, they don't feel a thing." And you're like, "You don't know that. I don't know. You don't want a hook in your freaking brain."
Yeah,
I don't know.
true.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
You're not a fan of fishing. Yeah, it's just funny because Noctis is like, oh yeah, fishing's my life or something like that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. He kills a lot of things too. Violence. Video games
Violence,
teach
yeah.
a lot about violence.
Yes, awesome. Good to know. Good to know. Man Thing is asking, how do you handle negative reviews of projects you've worked on?
I've never gotten a single one, so I wouldn't know.
Nice.
Negative reviews. I don't know. Everyone can have their opinion. I think that's great. That's great. Sounds good to me.
Nice. Rowan Biscuit is asking, out of the whole process of game making, what did you end up enjoying that you didn't expect to enjoy?
That's a good question. It's always fun when you get one that you haven't gotten before. So you actually have to think for a second. Something that I didn't expect to enjoy that I do. You know what? COVID's been interesting. I don't know if you noticed. One of the things that is really fun about voice acting is the waiting room of the studio, is getting to actually see the people you're working on the project with, getting to see other people you work with. And that is something, when you're working with your voice actor, you don't think of the waiting room as like, wow, this is the best part of the job. But in many ways, it really is. And COVID took that away. And so that kind of, it really is a blow to the enjoyment of the job of being like, oh, okay, I get to do the part of the job that's fun, which is the acting part, which is great, but the socialization is such a huge part of the job too. And that was unexpected for me.
I see. Oh, interesting. So like what do you do now? There's no like you just go on a call and you just meet the person, on the video and that's it. Like there's no
Yeah, it's
mm,
not the same for
mm,
sure. And it's also weird because you'd be in a waiting room and there'd be 10 people, and so you'd get to branch off into all these different conversations. You and the writer would go and talk, or the casting director would talk with you, or you and then another actor would go and talk separate conversations, but Zoom doesn't have that. So we all have to talk together and be very polite together. And that's, I think, is it's not as much fun.
mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting that in America the voice acting is a solo job as opposed to in Japan where they actually, if it's a group, if a bunch of characters are in one scene, all of those voice actors and actresses go record at the same time in one room.
Oh yeah, they're not dubbing. Yeah.
Yeah, even in COVID times, like they still record in the studios, with of course like a lot of safety measures and cautions taken, but it's interesting though that in Japan, in America, it's very different, right? So I feel like with COVID, it makes it even more alienating, right? That it's like
Mhm.
you're very detached from your co staff, or what are they called? Not coworkers, but
Actors, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
co-actors.
yeah, co-actors, yeah.
Um, well, yeah, and dubbing you can't do together. You have to do that
Mm.
solo. So the Japanese actors get to do that together, but we can't. Just
Is
back to the job.
Is it because they like when they are recording, they don't get the anime might not have been even made yet, so they can just get together, or is it like just kind of a
No, yeah, they can say whatever they want, but we have to do it to picture.
oh,
So
I see, I
we
see.
have to be frame perfect.
Oh, I see, I
Or
see.
we can't do it with other people.
Mm. Yeah, I guess that
Mhm.
COVID really did change a lot of things as well, and made it more isolated, which kind of sucks, but hopefully things will get better soon and you can have the waiting room back.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. I think that's about all of the questions right now, and of course, we don't want to take too much of your time, Ray. It's been an honor for you to be joining us today and speaking about voice acting and your different experiences, and also your indie game, which we're very excited to hear more about. So, yeah, is there anything else like you would like to say, like a closing Harada or Ray that you want to have? Oh, well, actually, one more question before we go. Magna World says, "Do you have a dream role?"
Man, no, I got to do so much cool stuff. It's like whatever's out on the horizon, I'm down for. There's everything is awesome.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. But yeah, Harada, if you want to, do a little closing thing, if
Sure.
you have any.
Yeah. No, like I said, thank you all for joining us. Again, what I appreciate most about this is we got to hear more about Ray, not just voice acting, but a little bit of his streaming, but also more importantly, a little bit more. Like he's doing more than just voice acting. He's also, getting into more game development. And as a game developer myself, I'm very excited, and that's some of the stuff I love just personally talking with him about and just exploring and telling him about my indie game as well. So yeah, just wanted to thank you all and just joining us. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ray. And thank you again, Harada, for joining us. You guys, are so great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedules to talk. And we had a lot of fun. Learning more about your roles and just talking, about custard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but thank
Thank
you
you.
everyone in chat for also tuning into Aitai Chat today. We'll be back with more episodes in the future with them, not just voice actors, but people in the industry, as well as just other very interesting things in the anime, video game, or music industry. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. And I am Audrey, and I am CEO of Aitai Kuji, who is also helping to sponsor Aitai Chat. And thank you guys all for joining us, and thank you Ray, and thank you Harada for joining as well. And have a great day, everyone, guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.